On today's news, WWE removes a huge WrestleMania from the network, Impact Wrestling's Genesis results, news on exactly what is going down with Jay White's contract situation, a top Ring of Honor star has become a free agent, a new singles match has been announced for next week's WWE SmackDown, and we're gonna find out exactly how SmackDown did in the overnight ratings. Hello everybody, I am Gareth here from What Culture Wrestling, welcoming everybody back into 2021 with the first solo Sunday news of 2021. I know it's a special occasion, I'm excited, and I'm glad you could join me. So obviously, as I've already said, the big news, if you were waking up this morning expecting to turn on WrestleMania 24, you can't, because apparently WWE have taken it off the network, and this is all according to Heel by Nature. They've said that they've taken it off at this time, and it's still not available on the service, and there's no real official news as to why this has happened. But a possible explanation that has been put forward is that this could have something to do with the Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather, which is obviously the big match, the big marquee match that was on WrestleMania 24. It's not the only one, obviously, because you had The Undertaker taking on Edge for the World Championship. You had Ric Flair's last match, his retirement match. And yeah, the Randy Orton, Triple H, John Cena WWE Championship match, but it was the Floyd Mayweather Big Show match that did lead to a bit of a headache for the company when it came to the DVD release, at least, which is something I actually own in a limited edition tin case because I am a nerd. But this is all to do with a bit of a rights issue when it comes to the song that Mayweather walked down to the ring to. It was the 50 Cent I Get Money song, and one of the producers of the song tried to sue WWE and Mayweather in 2010, but the case was dismissed when he couldn't prove that either party made money off the track. But maybe it has something to do with that, maybe not, we're not sure. But at this point, it's just very weird that they've taken it off the network. But away from WWE just taking things off the network willy-nilly, we have Impact Wrestling's Genesis pay-per-view special thing that happened last night. A lot of great matches went down on this card. I'm going to just run through a few of the results. I'm not going to go into too much detail, because I'm going to leave that up to Simon Miller, because he's going to present an ups and downs Impact Genesis video for you at some point in the future, so I'm not going to bore you with loads of details. Here are the results of this event. So obviously we had the Super X Cup tournament. So the first round of that tournament went down here, and we had Ace Austin, he defeated Suicide, Blake Christian defeated Casey Navarro, Cousin Jake defeated Davari, and Crazy Steve defeated Trey Lamas. That was the first round done. They were the guys who were getting through to that next round. So we got the semi-finals. We had Ace Austin, he defeated Cousin Jake. Blake Christian defeated Crazy Steve, so the finals were Ace Austin versus Blake Christian, and wouldn't you know it, Ace Austin was the guy who went on to lift that Super X Cup trophy, and he is the Super X Cup champion. Yes, that is what he is. But they weren't the only matches on the card, because we also had Jordan Grace defeating Jazz. Yeah, Jazz came back for a bit of a battle. And then we had Willie Mack against TNA World Champion Moose in an I Quit match, which had a bit of an interesting ending, because Moose was absolutely obliterating Willie Mack in the closing stages. He had him on the floor and he just kept blasting him with a championship and piling chairs on his face, and he threatened to smash him again with a championship and all the rest of it. But then Rich Swann, the Impact World Champion, came down. He was like, "No, what do you want? Stop this madness. You're hurting my friend." And Moose just went, well, Moose didn't say anything, sorry. So he said, "What do you want? I'll give you a title shot." And Moose went, "Thank you, I quit." So he just threw the match, because all he wanted was that Impact World. There's too many belts. Impact World Championship shot. He's got the TNA belt. He wants the Impact one. He's probably going to try and unify them. But it was a very interesting finish. Like I said, not going to go into too much detail about everything else that happened, because Simon Miller would do that in the ups and downs. But for now, I'm very intrigued coming out of Genesis 2021. And on to another news story, which has pretty much intrigued most of the wrestling community online at this current point, because we're going to talk about Jay White, who apparently, this has been reported over the last week, WWE are making a strong play for the New Japan Pro Wrestling star. And Jay White has apparently got a lot of people supporting him within WWE, and a lot of people are trying to poke Triple H and be like, "Hey, come on, bring him over. He's really good at wrestling." Obviously, these reports came after Jay White had quit following his loss against Kota Ibushi at Day 2 of Wrestle Kingdom 15. For the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental titles. But on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, I actually listened to this clip last night before I went to sleep, because that's how I spend my nights. I am a nerd. Dave Meltzer gave a bit more context when it comes to White's status with New Japan Pro Wrestling. He first prefaced things by saying that he'd not spoken to New Japan specifically. He's not really spoken to White either, so this is based off information that he had beforehand. He said that AEW, when they were starting up as a company in late 2018, they actually contacted White to say, hey, do you want to come and sign with us? And the EVPs of AEW are obviously the former Bullet Club members, so they've all seen what White can do up front. They know exactly what he's all about. But at that time, Jay White told AEW that he'd signed a 7-year contract with New Japan. So do your maths, he's got another 5 years left, if that is true. Or we're not sure if he just said that just to pacify AEW and just keep him off his tail. But if that is true, seems like he's got a long time. This could be a work potentially at New Japan, but it's unknown at this point whether it is true or false, but I just think that's very interesting. And speaking of people who just seem to be on the way out of the company, potentially, we've got a top Ring of Honor star that's just suddenly become a free agent. We're talking about, of course, Dalton Castle. This is according to Wrestling Inc. They've said that they've learnt this, that he is apparently now a free agent. He signed with Ring of Honor in 2013, of course, won the Ring of Honor World Championship in 2017 against current AEW EVP Cody Rhodes himself, and he's now a free agent. Apparently, he's free to sign with whatever company he pleases, be that AEW, be WWE, be that re-signing with Ring of Honor, who have apparently offered him a new deal. It's said to be very good. He's considering that, but he just wants to see what's out there because, you know, you're not a free agent often, so you might as well see if the grass is potentially greener on the other side or see just how much you're worth to the company you're already in. He was last seen as part of Ring of Honor TV. That was in December. He defeated Ring of Honor newcomer Brian Johnson at that point, but yeah, we're not sure what the future's going to hold for him, but at this point, at this moment in time, he's apparently a free agent. And of course, I am your SmackDown guy, along with Phil, so we've got to talk a little bit about some SmackDown stuff. And apparently, we've got a new match that's been set up for next week's SmackDown, along with a segment. We've got a segment that's been spoken about. Apparently, it's going to be Adam Pearce going face-to-face with Roman Reigns on next week's show, which is going to be a recipe for disaster, because Adam Pearce is probably going to get super kicked and sell it like a champ, like he did this SmackDown. He's probably going to do it again, because Jey Uso is just going to probably do it when Roman Reigns lifts his arm or lifts his belt or something. That's going to happen. But the match itself is going to be Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jey Uso, because obviously if you watched SmackDown this week, we had that epic gauntlet match which Shinsuke Nakamura was screwed out of. Nakamania was screwed. We nearly had it. He had that taken away from him because Jey Uso and Roman Reigns just beat him up and beat up Adam Pearce and then just plonked Adam Pearce on top of Nakamura. So we're going to have Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. But for now, and I'm really excited about this, we are going to get Nakamura against Jey Uso on next week's SmackDown. And if we're going to see the same type of Nakamura that we saw in the gauntlet match, in this match against Jey Uso, it's going to be really good. So yeah, look forward to it. And we are going to end this first Solo Sunday of 2021 with, of course, some ratings talk, because who doesn't like talking about SmackDown's overnight ratings? Not this guy, I love it. So according to Showbuzz Daily, last night's episode of SmackDown drew an average of 2.003 million viewers overnight. So slight decrease of 0.5% from the previous week's show, but it's just above that 2 million mark, which I think is the kind of sweet spot right now. As long as they're staying above that 2 million mark, they're going to keep Fox happy and us wrestling nerds who like talking about SmackDown ratings happy. They scored a rating of 0.5 in the always important 18 to 49 demographic. That was third for the night, but obviously the show was built around that big gauntlet match that we had to determine Roman Reigns' challenger at the Rumble, won by, of course, Adam Pearce. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that, because I'm personally quite intrigued. I don't think this is just the end game at this point. I don't think that match may even go down at the Rumble. If it does, there may be some shenanigans. There may even be a great one returning. Yeah, that guy, you know, with all this, he could come back. You never know. Just hold your horses. Let's see what happens. But for now, intriguing stuff. And that has been your first Solo Sunday news of 2021. Let me know what you think of all these news stories in the comments section below, which I'm sure you will. Don't forget to follow myself on Twitter at gmorgan04. Follow everybody here at WhatCultureWWE on Twitter at that WhatCultureWWE. Do that. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, click on all the subscribe buttons and all the rest of it. And most importantly, above all else, you know what's coming. Enjoy your Sunday. You've earned it. It's been a hell of a start to this year, so do whatever you love today. If that involves you having a glass of whiskey whilst watching some wrestling, do that. If that just involves you having a nap at 3 o'clock today, just do that. You do you, I'll do me. Let's have a good one. See you later.